Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sapida. I'm the Kangen wellness consultant and business coach. The intention of today's session is not to talk about the benefits of Kangen machine as some people might see it, but to help those who are new to Kangen to place themselves as a distributor, those who are already part of the Kangen family, and to see how much income or the kind of um, potential or projection of income that they might get in only 1 year. Is that okay? All right. Okay. Let me start by explaining a bit about where Kangen is, throughout the world. I need to mention that Kangen is a global business. Means wherever you are in the world, you can join the business and you can do the business anywhere in the world. As of now, Kangen has its presence in over 100 plus countries, and it has 20, it has offices in 20 over countries, and some of them are Hong Kong, USA, Russia, German, Egypt. We are now in Africa, and we also have offices in Singapore, in major cities around the world. As you can see, Singapore. We have offices in Thailand, Cambodia, of course, Malaysia, Indonesia, and many other countries. And then in USA itself, since USA is a great continent, there's only there's more than only one or two offices there. So there's lots of places that you can go in USA where you can, meet up with the company's representative and who can help you to explain Kangen business and to join the Kangen business, right? Okay, let's go into the subject. As I explained just now, you know, what we're going to have at the end of the session, we have all the structure built in so that we don't want to use extra time. All right. At the end of today's session, we hope to show you, if you join Kangen today, how much income you'll be getting in about 1 year, right? So let me explain what we have here. This is income projection. So our role here is to show you how to get there, right? Some people get to certain income faster than the others. So that's um, beyond our control. But what we are showing you is how you go to a certain income, which is practical, and I will show you why I say it's practical and real. So what we have here is let's see. We have here on the first column is the type of distributor. Type of distributor simply means when you join Kangen, what you can do is, there's a range of products, very high quality products that you can use to your needs. But some will end up as end user. End user means those that, due to work commitment, example, they have full time job, they're not able to join business and they might not be interested, or they will like wait and see kind of situation. So they will end up being an end user, at least during our income projection scenarios here. For some timer is the kind of distributor where when they meet Kangen or somebody introduce them to Kangen, they are in need of certain amount of money. Example, they want to marry off their daughter or their son, or they know that they have to have certain number of Malaysian ringgit or USD or Singapore dollar or whatever. So they hope to get that much of money in immediate future. That means in, I don't know, 1 or 2 years, example. So these sometime distributors will work very hard to achieve that, but after some time they might lay out. That means they might relax a bit and just go on with life. For example, okay, third one is the part timer. Part timer is the kind of distributor where they are very dedicated, but due to the time constraint, the time that they have to allocate to their business, some of them are business people, some of them are full timers, but they find time, right, to still do Kangen business, right? So those are the part timer. What about the full timer? This part timer and full timer may be overlapping, may overlap, right? Example, some people may start off being a part timer, but after some time they say, wow, you know, my income in Kangen is much more than my current business, example. This may apply to some of you. So for some reason, they decided to stick to one business, which is Kangen business, full time. So in terms of hours, I think end user, they are not involved in business. Sometime will only involve in certain number of years, maybe, right? But part timer, as in a day's work, they might allocate depending from 4 hours, maybe up to 7 to 8 hours, right? For part timer, where if you can imagine a business person, they might spend 13 hours, 14 hours, or 15 hours total in a day. But they will spend part of it into Kangen business. All right, make sense? And then full timer is someone who's doing serious Kangen business. It's their bread and butter. All right. Having said that, I hope it's quite clear to you who are the types of distributor that we have. All right. Second column is the number of machines per month. I need to mention before that in Kangen is such a wonderful business that you can actually add up your sale from previous months and previous years, right? It's not like you have to have certain target every month and you have to have minimum certain target every month. You don't have to do that. So, example for an end user, you might have certain number of machines per month, and then we will talk about number of machines per year later. So we'll explain in the context of end user, some timer, part timer, and full timer. So there you go. We have types of distributor, number of machines per month, number of machines per year, and at the end, especially on this part, for part timer and full timer, we will come up with a figure that will definitely amaze you. That if you can imagine in your current business or in your current work, if you want to go from being a normal executive to being a manager, it will take, a couple of years, not just 2 or 3 years, but in Kangen, somebody have got to have managed to reach, quote unquote managerial position in Kangen or high ranks in Kangen and really get real value and real money. So we're talking about continuous and also passive income. But the intention of this video is to show you what's going on here. All right, let's start and go into the subject. Okay, end user. Let me tell you beforehand that the numbers that we're going to use for the number of machines, since this is not interactive, what we're using is that before this we've had sessions on this. So we already have, suggested number of machines. So for the sake of simplicity, we're going to use the numbers. But once we have more than one option, what we will do is we will choose conservative numbers, right? Yeah, we will choose consecutive numbers. That means the lowest number. Do you know why? Because we don't want people to say that, okay, when I watch your video of income protection, I noticed that you use big numbers. Of course, you will end up with big values at the end because you're using big numbers. Example, use numbers of 8 instead of 2 or 3. Yeah. So we don't want people to say that. We will show that despite using the lowest, yeah, lowest number among 2 or 3 values, we will come up with eventually, you know, big numbers. All right. Let's go with the subject. Okay. As I mentioned just now, this number of machines per month. Imagine that you have an end user, so they buy a product from the Kangen Wellness Solution or package. So they will buy probably one machine. All right. Okay, we're asking now because we're talking about one end user having one machine. But due to the quality, or since this person, they don't only use the machine, but he thought or she thought that they get real benefits. So they start to, oh, this is so wonderful. Last time I have this, probably this sickness or this medical conditions, but now I'm free of that. So, I like it very much. And when he or she meet up with someone with the same problem, they might share it with them, right? So by being in that situation, they're bound to be other people who ordered a machine from this person. For example, we might talk about in 1 year of telling people and sharing some water to other people, there'll be 3 other machines that will be registered. Right? Make sense? All right. And some of the other ones say, oh, this person is so convincing. Instead of having 3, we might have 5 machines coming in. All right. And somebody say, well, this is an end user. I don't think it's 5. 5 is too big of a number, right? So let's talk about 2 machines, extra machine from this one end user in a year. If you remember what I mentioned just now is we will decide on the lowest number, right? So in that year example, he has a machine, and due to his little efforts or genuine effort of sharing with people, he might have 2 other machines coming in. All right. Okay, let's talk about some timer. Some timer is people will have certain things in mind, certain situations where they really need, real money. So this sometimer might end up having 2 machines. You can see the commitment between end user and sometimer is more for the sometimer, right? And then same with end user, due to his effort of sharing the benefits of the machine and everything, there will bound to be people who ordered, the machine or Kangen machine from him. So what are some of the numbers? Somebody suggests that in 1 year, this person might have 5 more machines coming in, right? Okay. And then somebody suggested 4, and somebody else suggested 3. As you can see, since some timer has more commitment in terms of the time and what he's trying to achieve, so you can see the number here are bigger than the number above. But you still choose the smallest one. Fair enough, right? Okay. For the intention of today's video session, we will focus on part-timer and full-timer. Why? Because throughout the year, throughout the year, end user and some timer put much less effort compared to the part timer and full timer. Fair enough, right? Okay, let's go to the part timer. People asking how many machine could a part timer produce? Somebody suggested in our game plan, we have like game and discussion. Somebody suggested that one part timer in 1 month might come up with 3 machines. They make sense because to get orders for a machine is not that easy, maybe because we're dealing with people, right? Okay, and someone else say it could be 5. Okay, possible. This one person might put real effort, although he may have business or he may work full time, but he's very dedicated, although he put less hour than the full timer, right? Okay, and if he's working very hard, he might get in certain months 8 machine. Okay, but as we agreed, and as we mentioned that we will go with the lowest, the most conservative number. So how do we do the calculation here? All right. Here, we need to understand a few features or a few criteria of the Kangen business. Number one is, if you notice, this is talking about sales per month, right? So in order to go from sales per month to sales per year, you need to multiply by 12, right? There's 12 months in 1 year. So we'll pick up number 3, and then for the first portion, we'll take number 3 and multiply that with 12. That will give us in 1 year, because this is yearly, in 1 year, 36 machine. Make sense? All right. The second one is to understand a little bit how Kangen business works. Kangen business is so special. For me, it's so special because they understand it's very humane, should I say. They are very realistic. In other words, there are times that we'll be busy, and there are times that we can spend more time for the business. So the way they develop the 8-point system, the patented 8-point system, is that they say that the actual number of dollar or money that you will get will be based on the rank. At the initial part, you probably end up at rank 1A or 2A, but after some time, by being loyal to the company and work harder, and you get more experience, you are better, you have better skills and everything, you might end up in rank 5A or 6A example, right? So here, for the sake of today's discussion for the income projection, people asking, should I use 1A rank, 2A, 3A, or 6A? Remember at the beginning we said that we will go with the conservative. But to say 1A is a bit unrealistic back because 1A is very much the initial few steps, so we try to be realistic, so we'll choose rank of 2A. What is 2A means here? Can you see that on the whiteboard? Okay. Whenever there's a machine, example, this is a model of the machine that we have, SD501, right? In the Zoom, normally we'll show that pictures to our prospects. Whenever there's one machine being sold, there'll be 8 people or 8 names or 8 points that will be released from that one machine. And each one has the value of 1,000. All right. So 2A means every time you have a machine release, you will have 2 times 1,000. Make sense? So that will be 2,000. So now we are talking about, as a person, if I am a Kangen distributor, how much would I get once a machine is being sold? That will be under number 3, whereby, remember I have 36 machine in 1 year, right? So what you have is, in terms of my direct or personal sale, that will be 36 machine, and the value that we get for each machine is 2,000 ringgit or whatever currency, you know. In our context, we talk about RM. We'll choose one country and stick for that, so that will be standard. All right. But then, under the direct, people asking, are you working alone? Because this is not a conventional type of business where whatever you sell is whatever you get, right? This is the type of business, a very special business, very awesome business, where, of course, what you sell is what you get, but what other people sell is also what you get. Okay. If you join the Zoom and you talk to Kangen distributors, they'll explain more about this. All right. So just now we talk about direct, something that I probably sell on my own. There'll be indirect. Proportion or ringgit that I will get, for my team. And since we talk about direct and indirect, we need to understand the ratio that we will choose. If I contribute 36 times 2,000, okay, that will be 1. So how much will be the indirect thing? So let's just calculate what is 36 times 2,000 here. That will be 70 to 2,000. So we already pre-calculated, but you can check on this, not a problem. So for the indirect, through the experience of our leaders, they were sharing that actually most of the income will come from the indirect portion, because after some time when you build your organization, there'll be more people, and you will of course coach them and teach them how to do the business in Kangen. Easily people say that the comfortable ratio here can be 1 to 5. But remember, we talk about conservative. So when we talk about conservative, we really go conservative. We are talking about the ratio of only 1 to 1. Fair enough? Quite interesting. Let's see how things will come out. If the direct is 72,000, since the ratio is 1 to 1, so with the same calculation, because we say that the other members of the team are contributing exactly the same number as we contribute, right? So that will be then another 72,000. So we need to add these things to up. 72 plus 72 will be 144,000, right? That will be what one part-timer will contribute. Make sense? Right. So the last portion is trying to understand, trying to be real. In 1 year, you talk about 12 months. Do you think, throughout the day from January up to December and coming into January again, will be only one part-timer? It's like one part-timer? No. As a Kangen distributor, you try to explain to people what they will get and how they can reinvent their life, right? So that way, what are the numbers that you can think? How many part-timers that will eventually join you in the business? It can be any numbers, but some of the numbers that we get from our previous session is 5 part-timer. Makes sense, right? 5 part-timer in 1 year. And somebody suggested 8, and probably 10. Okay. Again, we will choose the lowest one. So we will put that into here. where what we mean here is, instead of having only one part-timer contributing, how much? 144,000. Realistically, we may have 5 part-timers. So we have 5 here, multiply with 144,000. Okay, we'll squeeze the numbers here. That will end up being 720,000. Not bad, huh? Okay, let's move to full-timer. Full-timer is somebody who's working very hard. They have, they are very focused in their business. So since full-timers spend a lot more time, so the number of machines that they will produce is more. We have 5, probably 8, 10, compared to the one above. So let's go with the minimum, 5. So again, we repeat the same process. Number 1, since we have 5 machines, so in 1 year we will have 60 machines? Yeah, right? Number 2, we still choose 2A, rank 2A, right? Which is rather comfortable, not too high, not too low kind of thing. So 2A means for each machine that's being used, you will get 2 times 1,000, which will be 2,000. Okay, and then we also need to consider the ratio here. But for the full-timer, we talk about direct, something that a full-timer will contribute. Direct will be what? 60 times 2,000. 12 is 12. So here alone will be 120,000. You can use calculator and check my calculation here. As for indirect, again, we decided on the ratio of 1 to 1 again. Where for the indirect, since one machine that we produce will be supported by another machine from the rest of the team. So as you would expect, this is another 120,000. So 120, 0, 0, 0. Total will be what? 240,000. So how do we justify this at the end? We say that in 1 year, it's very unlikely we have only one full-timer. We may have more than that. But since full-timer is like a diamond, I mean, not very many people, can really dedicate their time and everything. So we're talking about less number than the part-timer. We have probably 3 full-timer in a year, 2 or probably 5. Let's choose the lowest. So here we have 240,000. So for the total, as in number 4 here, we have 2 times 240,000 here, which easily gives us 480,000. Right. So is that all? Not quite, because remember, we have part-timers and we have full-timers. So we need to total these 2 numbers. Somebody will, with a calculator, help me to count 144,000 plus 240,000. This is 180,000. Sorry. It's not 240,000. It's this here, the total. This is also the total. Right? So 480,000 plus 144,000 will be, in big numbers, I'll put it here to give more space. There'll be 1,200 thousand, right? What is that? That is not 1,000 anymore. You can call this 1.2 million ringgit or dollars, depending. So can you imagine that, if you are doing a full-time job and you just started, you know, is it possible that you can get 1.2 million at the end of 1 year? Probably not. Yeah, 1,000, 200,000. Yeah, but here, by working on something, not only as a full timer, but you know, because you have some people who's a part timer, you have some people who are full time. That's why we add things up, right? And here, if you notice, we are ignoring even the end users, the contribution from the end users or some timer. That means there's more to this. There's probably 1.5 million, but we say 1.2 million is not bad. That's a lot of money in this you know unstable economy, very, very difficult times that we are going through now. Can you imagine of getting 1.2 million added up to whatever you're working on in 1 year? That's why we say that, for those who can see, after being explained to them what Kangen business is, what they can do, we are telling these people, and we are telling you too, don't just try out the Kangen business because the potential is very big. Really work on it, and you'll be amazed that you may get, if not more than 1 million, is close to what, 1 million? That's a lot of money being added up to your account every single day. And it's not only a payday, right? Every single day can be your payday. So what we tell you is, really focus on Kangen business, explore, how you can work on it, and work on your Kangen business truly from your heart and give your full commitment. And, you know, somebody was asking this, give me the last 1 or 2 minutes. Somebody was asking, is this real? Recently I've talked to one lady, young lady in the 40s, and I was talking to her, and she said that, for the last couple of years, I slow down a bit on Kangen business, but I can tell you, she said, for the first few years that she was in Kangen, and she's still with Kangen, of course, the income is about 2 million for 2 years. Can you see 2 million for 2 years? That means for 1 year will be 1 million. So these are real figures. So if you are one of those out there who's looking for plan E, you get stuck with your business, you have your full-time job and somehow they really cut down on your salary or anything, think of joining Kangen business and be part of the executive group who grow their business, help other people health-wise and financially. Okay, with that, I end the video session. See you at the top.